Welcome back to the HVAC Accelerated Success Program. In the movie The Aviator, Howard Hughes is obsessed with his aircraft designs and his ability to be able to reduce drag. Why? Because with less drag, the faster the aircraft flies, and the less fuel is consumed. In modern aviation, every consideration is made to reduce drag, thus increasing the efficiency of the overall aircraft. Think about the closing percentage and dollar average in business as a measurement of efficiency, or the ability to reduce drag or competition. The more able your sales team and processes are, the higher closing percentages and dollar averages will be, the faster you'll fly, and the less fuel you will burn, all while achieving better results. In this session, we will observe each company's sales processes. We will also look at an entire month's worth of sales data to identify opportunities for improvement. Improvement in closing percentage and dollar average is one of the fastest ways for a company to improve its overall cash position. Throughout the rest of the program, we will also begin to monitor cash spread on a consistent basis to see how each of the companies progress.
Hi, Tom Whitman here, HVAC Coaching Corner. Today, we're going to discuss business principles. And there's 4. Number 1, knowing your brand identity. Number 2, product offering. 3, sales strategy. And number 4, business accountability. We're going to be visiting 4 different companies across the United States to find out where they are in each of these disciplines right now. Without further ado, let's go to our friends Max Air in Houston, Texas, and see how they are in reference to their brand identity. Take some notes.
As we kind of kicked off, unfortunately, we kind of kicked off in the pandemic, but that really hasn't hurt us at all, which I'm slightly surprised. We actually have been surpassing our goal marks that we set ourselves for at the beginning of the year. When we first started the business, we were shooting for at least $1 million in sales revenue. We have now almost doubled that amount. And I think as of last week, we had made up to $2 million in sales to date. So we're pretty excited about that. So we're definitely carrying some really good momentum, and we want to take it to the next step. So I think that's Jean recognized that, and she's like, all right, great. You guys are ready to take this business to the next step. So you guys can definitely will see a lot of benefit in talking to a consultant and seeing how they can kind of take us to that next step that we want to take.
So how did you, it was just primarily demand that allowed you to do 2 million within the first year, or how did you do that?
I want to say the secret ingredient is, obviously there's a demand component to a lot of this, but we have put a lot of emphasis on marketing. We put a lot of emphasis in making sure that our brand was known in the industry, or at least among our customer segment, which is mostly Hispanic households. So we actually did a very aggressive social media campaign. Up to this day, we have a lot of exposure on TV, radio, and also a pretty good referral program. So that's been our emphasis, and I think that's really what allowed us to kind of be on the radar, especially so soon in the game.
Do you have a service component to your company yet, or is it primarily replacement?
It's primary sales with the focus in all residential sales at the moment. Any service that we do is just tending to any service repairs that are coming out from our sales. If there needs to be any additional support. Down the road, we'll kind of like to look at the value proposition of having a service segment to our business, but it's not something we're actively pursuing. We kind of want to focus mostly on growing sales at this point in time and making sure that whatever service staff we have is to address our customer needs that we sold to.
So most of your sales reside within the Hispanic community, or is it pretty diverse?
No, I want to say close to 90%. And once again, that's something as we grow, I definitely want to diversify our market, and I want to be able to kind of tap into every type of household. Most of our sales are kind of in the Hispanic market just because we're doing all our marketing in local Hispanic radio stations or Hispanic TV stations. And then most of our referrals, since all the customers are Hispanic customers, they're just referring to us other Hispanic customers. But I kind of want to differentiate ourselves from the rest of our competition by kind of really diversifying our market and then being able to tap into other households and different types of households, especially here in Houston and in Texas in particular, because I mean, AC is a very seasonal item here in the state. And the Hispanic market has always been this niche market that has now really kind of been infiltrated by a lot of different companies.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, all right, I recognize this was a niche market a couple of years ago. It's still able to provide some decent amount of return, but I want to take it to the next step.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
We want to see ourselves beyond Houston. We have very ambitious goal for our business. We started here in Houston, but we definitely want to, I mean, I know it sounds a little bit exaggerated, but we want to be a national brand and have our presence in cities like Austin, Dallas, San Antonio. So basically increase our foothold across the state, and who knows, maybe even into other states. So that's one goal that we have. And then the other goal is that we want to be able to be making $5 million in sales every year, and at least have a target of either 2% to 5% of growth in the next couple of years.
Do you have any type of a plan to how to do that, or is right now it's just that's your goal?
That's our goal. We haven't really kind of formalized a business plan on how to kind of our 5-year outlook of what that'll look like. I think we'll have a better understanding of what that'll look like at year end, once we can kind of take a step back and digest what we did in the past year. But it's something that we want to kind of work on. It's building on what our 5-year plan looks like.
Wow, what an amazing accomplishment. Congratulations, Max Air. $2 million in business, 8 months in business during a pandemic. That's amazing. Our next step is to check your financials to make sure that the production in the field supports the financial requirements of your organization. Then we're going to see if that aligns with your brand. Now, the foundation for a brand, as you know, is 3 things, and we can only choose to do 2 of those 3. Low price leader, personal service, and fast response. Which 2 of those 3 do you want to drive a stake in the ground and say, this is my brand? Once we do the financials, we're going to see how that lines up with Max Air. Congratulations. Next up, we're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia, Top Tech, and see how they're doing when it comes to revenue streams. Take a few notes. See you in a few.
I'd really just like to send all my unit sales into this program. That's where I see it going. I mean, I love it because it gives the customer and it builds all the needs and expectations, and it's just a really good delivery method. And then the person can get educated up front. They know what they're working with. There's a lot of things to understand. It puts it in a simple form, and then it gives them all these different prices to work with and what they can afford and what they can't afford, versus typically when someone calls me for a quote right now, I'm having to spend all this time putting all these different, matrix numbers together, and it's very time consuming. I mean, I would rather, pay a little commission to, something like this out each and every time to make sure that it's letting me just run my business and, get the install crew set up so they can go do more jobs, because that's what I like doing. Well, all this is, it's a new program for us. I mean, this is a new thing. We've always dabbled in it, but we never majored in it. So everything that we get out of this is really a bonus to all that, because we mostly run service and repair. Yeah, the guys that I have do the installs, they're great, man. I mean, they've been doing it for years, and they do just a great job. And we try to do everything we can to perfection. So I think that this will really let the customer know that they're in good hands as well.
I need to get with Eric to make sure we have your current financing in place.
Yeah, make sure that those numbers are going to work, I guess, for Amin on all of our system cells, because they told me I have to do you can't do the full amount on each one. You just do a little bit on each one, and it kind of helps offset the difference.
Yeah, that's the spread approach, because if we'll put it this way, if 50% of your jobs are cash, okay, and you have 3% spread built into every job as a cost of doing business, then you have available as 6 points. That makes sense? The more finance jobs you have, the closer you get to not beating that spread. Okay, so right now you have 0 financing customers.
Right.
So to begin with, I think at 3 to 4% spread, you're going to be okay until you get a percentage above probably 40%. That's the kind of the rule of thumb that I use. If you're over 50%, we'll bump it up a little bit, but if you're under 50%, you cover the spread. And I just consider that a cost of doing business, for that 3%.
I'd definitely like to make enough to be able to market to where we can do a few a week, if not having one going every day. That's my goal.
Are you departmentalized or not?
Not really. I mean, we have different workers, and we have service, and we have install, but as far as our numbers go, not really.
I think it's all in one basket.
Yeah, I think it's all in one basket. So I would say no.
So what's your volume? What's your volume right now?
We lost a lot of business.
Okay. All right.
I'm kind of hurting right now, is what I'm trying to say without seeming.
Well, you know what?
Right
now it's all hands on deck, and it would be, I think, in your best interest, just to focus on those 2 things: cash spread and break even for the entire company, and do whatever we need to do to get past break even. Let's just keep it super simple.
A lot of people call you for free estimates and stuff like that. Is that just something I should send over to you guys and let you do a virtual sales consultation with them? And
we could do that for you if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I've got a few. Once we get this set up, we can go ahead and get started with. So
great. It would be good for you to get set up too.
I would. I want to learn it.
Okay. That way, when you're doing your on-sites and things like that, we'll be able to help you with it. And there may be some times when it would make more sense to have you go out and do an on-site and wrap things up too. So our mission is to sell jobs for you, but from time to time, customers may not be comfortable making a transaction with a person over Zoom. Top Tech, Atlanta, Georgia. Got a bright future ahead of you, my friend. Couple of things that we have an observation there. One is you only have one revenue stream, and that's service. So what we can do for you is bolt on an e-commerce that'll sell filters and accessories online, as well as a virtual sales team. So we can sell for you, and you just get those jobs in your inbox, and you go out and do a great job installing them. We want to do that to build cash flow, and also to get you past your break even by the 3rd week of every month. If we can accomplish that, we'll get you to the next level of putting some structure in place in about 90 days. So we'll check in with you then. Next up is going to be sales strategy with Centra Air in Edmond, Minnesota.
I really want to, because again, we're scared in a way because our customers they're just buying from us. They've, some of these people were putting in furnaces for their grandkids who are original customers. So we go out, our current guys go out and just say, oh yeah, you need an Amana 90%. here you go. It'll be 10 grand. Okay, when can you put it in? You know, so we're blessed in that way, but
Right.
we need to grow. So yeah, I need the sales guys to work a little bit more.
Okay. All right. So what are they using right now as far as pricing? Do they have a basically a flat rate or a pricing that they use, or do they build it parts, materials, markup, and labor? How do they do that?
So the way we've been doing it is they just kind of build it as we go, parts, material, labor. Now through this Amana thing, you know, that we got approved for, we've been working with EGIA quite a bit.
Good.
And we did kind of come up with a well, you can probably see this. Can you see that?
Yep.
Kind of a, you know, good, better, best kind of platform. We've been working on pricing, so we're making strides in that direction.
The reason I asked if it was going to be painful for them to come in and present so I could evaluate, if it's could create a lot of turmoil, that may not be a very good idea. But
You know, they would, because everybody on my team in here, you know, I told them all we were approved for this thing, and I said my approach is, look, we're given access to people that have been a lot more successful than us. We're going to take advantage of it. And if you don't want to be part of it, don't be on my team. But so it would actually go over well. I've worked with a lot of them and said, look, we have an opportunity at some training, some good salespeople, some good trainers. Let's take advantage of it.
awesome.
The stupidest thing I can do is get this thing and then not take advantage of it.
As far as your mix, how many high end versus low end are you selling right now?
Majority of ours have all been the low end. We haven't even, you know, a lot of our customers, and this is, you know, Concentra, we haven't done any marketing ever. So a lot of our customers over the 50 years are, you know, the sons of the original people. So they're just kind of, well, just give me the cheap one. I just need a furnace and air. So we haven't done any marketing. So it's probably 85% are the base and the good. Through this, you know, through the Amana program is what I'm really hoping to, well, now we're doing some marketing, CI Web Group, we're doing that. So now we're going to get some fresh blood customers in, if that makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
Because so many of our customers, I mean, I had one the other day. Wow, you guys are $7,000 for furnace and air now. I remember when you put it in for $3,500 back in 1982. So we're just an old company built on word of mouth. It's marketable on how you know, that's in the market of what competitors are getting.
Okay.
We're just, at least you know, a couple competitors I know, they're getting more than we are.
We have an allowable discount here of 5%, which would take that there. And we also have promotions and warranty in there too. So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We certainly be able to command the price during slower season. There's some flexibility with promotions and discounts of up to 8%.
So I like that.
Well, I always like to say that knowledge builds confidence, confidence inspires trust. So if we can,
There you go. Yeah. So, okay.
so good. Well, if you're good with this, I think it's a pretty good plan. So our costs seem to be in line, which is great. Our gross margin dollars, I think this is a nice spread for the best, better, good, and base, or as you say, the platinum and all that to put in for those systems as far as gross margin dollars. And, you know, it's just a matter of populating your base system with these numbers and then evidence going in the right place. We'll be ready to rock and roll. So, how you feeling right now? Good?
Good. Confident. So.
Excellent.
Now, do we get through your process? I like this sheet. This is pretty slick, even for the commercial.
Well,
you know, for my commercial guys bidding jobs. This is
You have it in your,
slick.
you have it in your inbox. I emailed it to you this morning. Well, the first step was to get the pricing to a point to where we could get the e-commerce site up, make sure everything's working. This step
Okay.
is to make sure that you're comfortable with the presentation, the branding, that part of it, as well as having a strategy put together for pricing, which we just accomplished. Which what we just did this afternoon used to take 3 weeks. So I'm real excited about that.
Good.
The map pricing is makes all the difference in the world. The reason that we're able to graduate like this because the best system brings more to the table than the base system. It's that simple. With all of its features. Plus, you're going to have a team that is knowledgeable and understands how to set that system up properly compared to a base system where maybe your rookie leader would be out there that hasn't gone through the training. Continuing education that's where this is going to be funded on how to set it up, the things with NCI and top performance and things like that. So there is a soft expense to high efficiency sales that needs to be covered with your gross profit. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. But
There's a huge cost to that,
There is. And you don't pay for it, the homeowner does. And most of them are happy to pay for it. That's the thing. Once we get this set, and then I'll be ready to have my sales team orientate themselves to your branding, how to sell, the pricing strategy, and all that. Once that's set, then you and I will connect and we'll start pushing this out to the field unit with your comfort advisors and salespeople.
So then once we get to the sales training part, that's when you send out that iPad thing and we get him acclimated on it, I'm assuming?
Right.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, and probably what I'll do is just organize a high efficiency sales class online, and we can just go through the whole thing, from beginning to end. The warm up, the establishment goals, finding out what the customer wants, the home evaluation, the demonstration, how we solve problems, and then the presenting the price, closing the sale, and then the closing process.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can get them tooled up pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm excited to get this going and get, because we're getting busy up here with the cold weather, so I kind of want to test these theories and get them working.
Congratulations, Century Air, for going to the next step. When it comes to sales and putting together a sales strategy, the pricing part of it's easy. The selling part of it needs an overhaul, some coaching. There's only 2 reasons for not buying, or as some people would say, 2 objections. It's a money issue or it's a value issue. It's that simple. And most of the time, there's 2 styles of selling. They sell a cheap price or they sell the value, one or the other. We need to mix this up, man, and coach your team up so that they are able to increase the value of what they're offering and then give the customer the chance to decide what makes sense for them instead of pre-qualifying them into a cheap system. Got to work it out from us, but I'm confident we'll be able to develop a dynamic team that sells on a value proposition and puts that customer in control of making those decisions. So it's going to be a lot of fun working with your team. Along with that, we're going to build on a virtual sales team so we can start to inject some cash immediately, and then an e-commerce that'll sell filters and accessories online where you don't have to worry about a thing. Next up is going to be business accountability. And for business accountability, we're going to go to my friends in Pioneer in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Year number 3 is when realistically we're trying to, and we're going to talk about this, is my concern becomes not just the ability to replicate bid wealth for the 3 to 6 months, because I'm not worried about that, because we will achieve it. The team that we have is incredible, right? The concern becomes, and this is where I pick your brain at a later time, is the opportunity such as production keeping up with sales. That is because remember the 3 things we look for. 1 is sales, because we got to sell a widget. Number 2 is the production team has to keep up with the sales team, right? And then the last piece, which why they're here, is the admin. The admin, because I need to know I'm making profit. I don't need practice to do this. You know what I mean? We know what we're doing. So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of it. And I guess at a later time, I'll bounce some ideas off you. This is more. I wanted to make sure that I get the chartered accounts, get the back office ladies involved into what we need to build, and then from there on, the path that you have, the 3 to 6 months expense, man. That's
Right.
I'm not concerned.
Well, you get the numbers settled in properly, and everything you're talking about falls under the responsibility of whoever's in charge of each department. Okay, right now everything's on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we hit 2 million, you're not going to have enough time today to do everything properly. Okay, so that's when we start start looking at the next step, which is structure.
Yes.
And how do we do that efficiently? Okay, so who's in charge of service performance? Who's in charge of sales performance? Who's in charge of production performance? Those 3 critical areas.
Yeah.
Okay, and you may fall into one of them, you may not. Okay, and whoever's in charge of performance doesn't mean they're not out there generating revenue. It does mean that they're in charge of performance. So, and there's 3 skill sets that need to happen for those people. The one is their technical skill. I'm sure you're going to have somebody that's technically inclined. Number 2 is people skills. I'm sure you're going to have somebody that can influence people. The third one may need a little coaching, which is their business skills. So we're going to take them from their critical performance measures and share a little more information with them and put them in charge of your gross profit for their department, for their little world. So they're responsible to get past the break even. They're responsible to generate X amount of installed dollars per day. That's on their shoulders, not yours.
You just made me the happiest person. You know that?
Well, that's so as you grow, I think in a very short period of time, once we get through the numbers, we'll evaluate where you are and see what's going to take to put that type of structure in place. But please understand, just because you have an influential person that seems to be a leader, that's technically inclined and has great people skills, they're probably lacking in the business skills.
Are you looking at that smile? Are you looking at that smile? Yeah. Did you talk to her before?
In fact, we did. I appreciate the talk last week.
Thanks.
Yeah. So there's a path and a way to do this.
Yeah.
And it'd be an honor to work with you through it.
Thanks so much for taking time and man, that was so cool. It was eye-opening. It was eye-opening on our side because it was exactly what we need, right? It's just so we know we see it, right? Oh, there it is. It's just now, okay, do I climb the tree? Do I go through the valley? Do I go, which way do I go? You know what I mean? The last thing I want to do is make the wrong decision for the company.
Right. So first two focuses for you: cash flow, number 1; break even, number 2. So let's knock that out of the way. Once we get that in place, then we're going to establish critical performance measures by department. Okay. Once we get that figured out, then we'll make sure that you're priced right in the marketplace. This is. I mean, and once you get this thing built, man, it's. I have goosebumps for you right now. All right, and then structure. And once you get the structure,
no, it's incredible. Look, it's a humbling experience, right? It's a humbling experience because look at where we are, right? With no guidance, with rephrase, with everything that we've built together on the best thing that we know how. Imagine where we're gonna be now that we have a path, right? A plan and a goal. Come on, baby. You know, throw me a carrot, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome.
So, wow. No, man, that's so awesome. You made my day. I appreciate you so much. So, thanks for taking time out. Seriously, that was really what I was looking for. I was looking for that.
Congratulations, Pioneer, for going to the next step. Also, for having a well-branded organization in Las Vegas. Next step for us is to put some structure in place for you. And we're basically going to revisit 5 things. Number 1, cash flow. Make sure you're advancing cash every day. Number 2, let's decide what your break-even is by department and determine what it's going to take to surpass break-even in every department by week 3. Number 3, critical performance indicators. Each person on the team should be measuring their performance against benchmarks. Now, the next step is super important, is to ensure that the performance in the field supports the financial requirements of the organization. Once that's put together, then we're ready for structure. Structure is, at your point, we're going to appoint somebody that's responsible for service, an individual that's responsible for sales, and an individual that's responsible for production. Each one of those will have, I'm certain, the right technical skills and the right people skills, but they may be lacking a little bit in business skills. So we're going to teach them how to influence gross margin dollars so you don't have to. All you have to do is manage your managers, okay, and take them to the next level. It's been a pleasure putting this presentation on for everybody today. I hope you were able to pick up a couple of gems that you can take back to your office and use. Feel free to reach out and contact me at any time. And until we meet again, God bless, take care, and good selling.